Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Strategic Searching virtual workshop. My name is Keelan. I'm the Research and Learning Services Librarian at the Weller Library. Today, we're going to go over the strategic searching process, which involves getting started, picking the resources that you need, concept mapping out your research topic into a searchable search string that you can then take into the databases to get the research that you need to answer your research question. But most importantly, I will also be telling you about the different avenues that you can pursue to get research help. I think it needs to be acknowledged that sometimes getting started is the hardest part of the research process, and it oftentimes feels overwhelming because of the number of resources that are available to you. The other problem is knowing what to search when you find a place to search. At some point during your university career, you will have a supervisor or an instructor that says to you, that's not a research question, or you need to narrow the focus to make it a researchable question. One of the common issues students run into when doing research for their thesis or dissertation is knowing whether or not they have a research question. It's important to understand that there is a difference between an area of interest and a research question, even if you have written your area of interest in the form of a question. To develop a research question, you need to do research first, finding and reading the literature in your field to gain an understanding of what's out there, looking for the noted gaps and the recommendations that experts in the field are putting forth. It's only after that that you can develop a focused and unique research question. The number one source of frustration for students comes from selecting the wrong database and getting 0 results. The good news is that we are going to solve that issue today by learning how to identify the right resources to search and how to create a search strategy that will save you time and effort. One of the key things to understand is that databases love what's called controlled vocabulary. This is the database's own language that it uses to categorize each of the articles that are available that they have indexed. The controlled vocabulary, or subject terms, act as a GPS coordinate to all of the research on that particular topic. What you want to do is use the controlled vocabulary in conjunction with the keywords or natural language that you've acquired from your professional experience, but also through your class readings. Here's an example of natural language and then the controlled vocabulary that the database prefers. On the screen here, you're seeing natural language for the terms like breast milk, but databases like CINAHL, Medline, and PsycInfo prefer the term milk, human. The same goes for the term cancer, which we use in everyday conversation, and it's found throughout the literature. But again, the specialized databases have preferred controlled vocabulary, which is neoplasms. Another example is corporate social responsibility, which in a business database actually prefers the terminology social responsibility of business. So, is that all you need to know? No. Remember that you are becoming an expert within the field, and your expertise comes from your readings, writing, lectures, and practical experience. So again, don't let the database tell you that you are wrong. You want to be using your natural language in conjunction with the controlled vocabulary that the databases prefer. And this is where Boolean operators are extremely important because they allow you to search for both natural and controlled vocabulary. When you have synonyms or similar terms that you need to search, you're going to use the Boolean operator OR in between each of those terms so that it pulls results relating to each of those terms. And is what we use at the end of our search. It joins our concepts together, making them about each other, increasing the relevancy of the results that you retrieved, but also narrowing the number of results that you have to sift through. At the onset of the searching process, whether it is for an assignment or your thesis, you will want to ask yourself, what materials do I need in order to answer my question? Do I need books, journal articles, Data. Once you've identified the types of materials that you'll need, you need to know where to go to find them. For books, you're going to be looking in the library catalog. Journal articles and data you're going to be finding using the indexes and databases, and theses and dissertations you can find through our own repository, and theses and dissertations from students from around the world can be found through the indexes and databases as well. Well, let's start finding books in the library catalog. The first thing you should know is that there are different ways that you can search. One is by keyword, and the other is using controlled vocabulary, just like in the databases that we talked about before. In the catalog, it's called the Library of Congress subject headings. This is the snobby language. But just like the controlled vocabulary in databases, the subject headings allow you to find all of the books on that particular subject. So once you've found one, you've found them all. Well, let's see how this works. The library resources allow you to search for keywords, and this is something that we are all familiar with. The problem with keywords is that you are searching for the words as they appear in the title of the books or in their contents. You're not necessarily searching for the topic. This is why we want to be searching using the subject headings. All of the items we have in the library are organized according to subject, and knowing this will make finding the books you need in our collection so much easier. What you're seeing on the screen right now is if I search the entire library collection for books relating to globalization, simply doing a keyword search, I'm going to retrieve 3,300 books, but they won't all be related to globalization or the more specific aspect that I need to search. This is why finding those subject headings is really important, because if I search using the subject heading, I narrow the focus of the books I retrieve to 695. But I can also narrow it even further by looking at economic aspects associated with globalization, which will narrow it down to 169, or social aspects associated with globalization, which will narrow it down to 129 titles. Well, let's see this in action. Let's start by doing a basic keyword search for books relating to health and equity. Make note of the fact that I'm using the Boolean operator and in between those terms to join them together so that I get results that are about health and equity. From the results screen, we're seeing that there's 268 books that contain the words health and equity. And the results are presenting to us books that are available as ebooks, as well as books that are available in our print collection. When you find a book that is relevant to your research, click on the title. This will bring you to a record in our catalog. Because this is an ebook, you'll see that you can access the book through the online resource single user. Everything you need for a perfect citation is included up at the top. All of the bibliographic information is there and it is accurate. It may not be in the order that you need for your particular citation style, but you can rearrange all of those pieces to make them fit. You'll also notice highlighted in red are the terms that we searched as keywords. So it's showing us where they appear in the title, but also in the contents throughout the book. What I'd like to draw your attention to is the subject headings that are listed here. Here we have these subject headings, Library of Congress subject headings, as well as the MESH headings. These are medical subject headings that you can use to search in the databases. The reason why these are important and will save you a lot of time in finding those additional materials for your research is that they're each hyperlinked. Look at the subject headings to see what is relevant to your research topic area. If you see one that is of interest to you, all you have to do is click on it. In this instance, I'm going to click on the subject heading, Discrimination in Medical Care, which is followed by United States. This is going to bring me a list of books that have that particular subject heading attached to them. You'll see here on the screen that we have 13 books in the library relating to that specific topic. If I click on it one more time, It will bring me directly to that list of books that have that specific subject heading. If a book is available in print, you will see a call number associated with it. Anything with a call number from A to K is located on the second floor of the library. Anything with a call number from L to Z is located on the third floor. This book is located on the third floor of the library. Another efficient and effective way to find additional materials is to click on the call number itself. This allows you to browse the shelves virtually, so you can see the books that are on the shelf from the left to the right of the book that we chose, and they will relate to the same topic. If you're studying from a distance, you can request that these books be mailed to you or sent to your regional campus. All you have to do is click Request, sign in using your UNBC credentials, and add in your mailing address or the regional campus you would like it shipped to. Once you've done that, simply click Submit and it'll be sent to you the following day. As you said about starting your searching in particular databases, it's really important to understand the types of information that can be found in them. In our various databases, you will find journal articles, theses and dissertations, book chapters, abstracts, conference papers, and trade publications. Before you begin searching databases, it's really important that you plan ahead. Know the databases that you're going to consult. So be strategic in order to be efficient, to get the results that you need. The first step is knowing how our databases are organized. They're organized alphabetically and by disciplines that are taught at the university. So if you know the name of a particular database that you need to search, you can go through the alphabetical listing. In instances where you're not familiar with the different databases associated with your particular area of study, you can use the subject list to identify the different databases associated with the various disciplines taught here at the university. Here on the screen, you'll see that from the drop-down menu, I selected Health Sciences, and then on the right-hand side, when you go to the following page, there's a list of the different databases associated with that discipline. It's important that you identify the feeder disciplines, so the other disciplines that could potentially inform your area of research. Here's an example of a list that I used in order to conduct a search. So depending on your particular research question, the first step would be identifying the different disciplines that inform my area of study. And then within each of those, after I've selected them from the drop-down menu, I'm going to identify the specific databases that I need to search to get the articles that I need. This serves as a checklist so that students can feel confident that they've searched and consulted all of the resources that they need to answer their research question. Here's what it looks like from the library homepage. You'll come to the library homepage and click on the Databases tab. Here you're seeing the alphabetical listing of the databases, so if you know the name, you can go directly to it. Here is the drop-down menu for all of the disciplines taught at the university. Once you've selected one, you'll click Submit to be brought to a page listing all of the databases associated with that particular discipline. Now that we've chosen the databases that we want to search, we have to plan how we're going to execute that search. And one way of doing this is through a concept map. For our concept mapping exercise, we're going to be using both natural language and controlled vocabulary. The thing to keep in mind is that concept maps are individual and personalized. The only person it has to make sense to is you. And the way that it's useful in this circumstance, helping you to create a search string that you can put directly into the database. Here's an example of a topic of interest or possible broad topic that you may be asked to investigate by your instructor for an assignment. Even if I change this into what is the impact of global warming on vulnerable populations with a question mark, it's still not a research question. The reason your instructors give you broad topics is so that you can find an area within that is of interest to you to investigate. But this can be overwhelming sometimes, and you may be thinking, just tell me what to research. Here is what you might want to try. Here's an example of a concept map. You'll see our topic is in the center, and I've divided out each of the concepts that exist within, namely impact, global warming, vulnerable populations. Terms like impact are hard for a database to understand. We have to define that term for the database in order to make it a searchable topic. In this instance, I've begun by defining it as I want to look at the health impacts. Below this, you'll see the concept for global warming. Outside of that major term, you'll see that there's also the synonyms for it. The synonyms that you're seeing in the smaller circles outside the main concept come from my everyday language, as well as terms that I've found by exploring the databases and the library catalog. For terms like vulnerable populations, I went to the United Nations to see how they officially define that term. And they define it as the poor, elderly, children, and women. And while we have narrowed down the topic tremendously so far, there's still work that we need to do. Namely, we have to define what health is, what particular health issue we're interested in looking at. I narrowed it down to looking at women's reproductive health, and I've added in the additional terms in the orange little circles. I also narrowed down the vulnerable population that I'm interested in researching, which has now been narrowed down to mother, girl, female, woman, or women. The last thing you want to do when narrowing down your topic is using a geographic region. So for this particular topic, I selected North America, so within a Canadian context, specifically looking at the Arctic region. Now we've successfully narrowed down from a broad topic of impact of global warming on vulnerable populations to a researchable topic, which is looking at the impact of global warming on the reproductive health of women. Now you may be asking about the color coding and how that translates to searching. Anything from our concept map that is in the same color palette will be searched using the word or. It's not until the end that we'll join our concepts together, narrowing them down by searching with and. Here's what your search will look like when translated from the concept map into the search strings. Here you'll see each of our concepts and their color coding on the screen. To the right of them, you'll see the synonyms or similar terms that we're going to use, with the Boolean operator or in between each of those terms. As stated earlier, we're going to use the Boolean operator and to make them about each other, to narrow our results and increase their relevancy. Let's search our map. First thing we're going to do is go to our first selected database. In this example, for searching, we're going to be using Academic Search Complete. To access this database, we're going to go to the library homepage and click on the Databases tab. Because we know the name of the database we're going to be searching, we're going to go through the alphabetical listing using the letter A. From the alphabetical listing, I'm going to click the word connect beside the name of the database I want to search. Once we're in the database, you'll notice that it's a pretty busy screen. You don't have to do anything except for entering in your keywords. Anything below the search boxes is surplus information. We can always narrow our results using the facets on the left-hand side once we have our initial results. Before we start searching our map, I want to show you where to look in order to get your synonyms or the controlled vocabulary that the database likes. The first thing you'll want to do is enter in the main term for your first concept. Here you'll see I'm entering in the term climate change, and I'm going to click search. In EBSCO databases, you will notice on the left-hand side of the screen that there's a subject thesaurus. If you click the arrow beside the words, you'll see the synonyms or similar terms that pop up that the database likes. This is where you can get those terms to populate your concept map. Because we've already created our search string through the process of concept mapping, we're now going to search concept by concept. Here's what it looks like. I'm going to start by entering in my search terms as they relate to health. So we have all of our terms, including reproductive health or maternal health or women's health. I'm going to click search to bring up the results that relate to each of those terms. Here you'll see that we get 594,000 results. The next step is to search all of our terms relating to climate change, which include climate change or global warming or climatic changes or climatology or global environmental change. I'm going to click search to retrieve results relating to each of those terms. Here you'll see that we retrieve an additional 385,000 results. We're now going to search our final concept, which has to do with the vulnerable population that we're interested in searching. Each of my synonyms is separated by the Boolean operator OR, which allows me to retrieve all results relating to each of those terms. This gives me an additional 2.5 million results to work with. Right now, the results on the screen don't mean anything, and that's because we need to make them about each other by joining the concepts together using the Boolean operator AND. Here's how we do this. We're going to click beside each of the search results that we've already retrieved, and we're going to join them together by clicking the Search with AND button. This will combine our search terms together to increase the relevancy and decrease the number of results that we get. You'll see that this has reduced the number of results that we've retrieved to 1,400. Everything you need to narrow down the number of results that you've retrieved is located on the left-hand side. Here you'll find facets allowing you to narrow it down to peer-reviewed literature from the date of publication, as well as the source types. Do not click the full text only facet on the left-hand side. This will reduce your results to articles that are only available in PDF in this database. And it actually reduces your results by 50% or more. You have to keep in mind that while some articles may not be available in full text in this one database, they may be available in another database. When we go back to the original set of results, you'll see PDF is available and that the articles are relevant to our search. But if we look at number 4, you'll see there's no PDF attached to this. If I had clicked full text only, this result, which is really relevant, would not have shown up. I'm going to click the Get It at UNBC button to see if this article is available in another database that the library subscribes to. You'll see here that yes, it is. All you have to do is click Full Text Online to access the article through Science Direct. In other instances, you may click the Get It at UNBC button, and it will tell you that the article is not available in our current collection, but that you can request the article through Interlibrary Loan. Simply click the Request This Article by Interlibrary Loan button to be brought to a page where you can log in using your UNBC credentials. If you're coming directly from a database, you'll click Log in, and it'll auto-populate all of the bibliographic information for you. Scroll down to the bottom, agree to our terms and conditions, and click Send Request Now. The article will then be requested from another lending institution and emailed to you as a PDF through your UNBC email address. In other instances, you may also click Get It at UNBC, where it will tell you that it is a publication that's published through open access. And this means that the article can be freely accessed through the internet. While I hope that all of the information presented to you in this video is useful, please know that you're not meant to remember every aspect of the search process and that you won't get it perfect right off the bat. And that's why it's really important to know how to get research help when you need it. You can visit us at the Research Help Desk Monday to Thursday, 11 until 5 p.m., and Fridays from 11 until 3. You are more than welcome to email us at library@unbc with your research question or to text it through at 250-999-0478. Alternatively, you can chat with a librarian in real time using the chat box on the library homepage. For more in-depth research help, you are more than welcome to book a research appointment with your liaison librarian or to use any of our online guides, research guides, our FAQs, and the videos that are available via YouTube. Thank you so much for watching, and please do not hesitate to contact us if you have any questions at all.